It's very nice to see a few nice and also known names in the group already. It is my pleasure to introduce you to Björn, who is currently an analytical consultant at Google. Before Google, Björn actually worked as a venture capital investor for Lufthansa Innovation Hub and Power Ventures. And today he will tell us how you can use Google Trends to generate valuable data for making business decisions. Björn, the stage is yours.
Awesome. Yeah, thanks for the intro. We only have 20 minutes and it's a really, really big tool. So I'll try to really stay on the facts and really try to give you some examples that are especially relevant for using the tool in a startup context. So let's have a look at what is Google Tools after all. I'll share my screen. Just a second. Awesome. So we're live. And Google Trends, what is it? It's basically an opportunity for you to see what people have searched on Google, as simple as that. And what do people search on Google? It's an honest reflection of what is in their current interest, what is on top of their mind. And analyzing this data can give you a lot of insights when you want to get information on anything that your company really would like to do in the future or wants to test, because if people are searching for it, there might also be an interest around it. So where does this data come from? So of course, there's a lot of Google searches happening. So by the end of the session, it's going to be almost 100 million searches that have happened. And these searches are analyzed in Google Trends. But there is some things you need to keep in mind. So what you'll see in the graphs that we'll be looking at is a share of interest. So it's basically a share of all searches that have happened on Google Trends during that time frame. So that means that if there is something at 100, which is basically the way that it's that is indexed, is the highest interest. And what you need to keep in mind is that search interest for most of the terms and categories, it increases over time. So even though you might see on the graphs that sometimes the interest just slightly goes down, just means that the share of interest is going down. It doesn't necessarily tell you whether the overall searches are going down. There's some other Google tools that you can use, like Keyword Planner, to make sure that this is not happening. So, and last but not least, it's volume constraints. So obviously you will not see very like personal identifying searches or something like that. It only works for searches that are meaningful in a way that they have been searched also by a lot of people. So what I'll cover in the session today, I'll just briefly introduce you to the interface, just show you what you can do. And then we'll dive into 3 exciting use cases. The first one will be around micromobility scooters, of course, looking a bit in the past when they exploded. In terms of usage and interest as well, we'll look at food delivery as a way to kind of do a brand benchmarking and also look at different markets. And then also I'll show you some tools how to look at enterprise SaaS investments or startups, how you can do comparison with Google Trends there. Some quick key takeaways, and then we'll head over to Wander for the Q&A. Awesome. So what are the main kind of user interfaces that they are in Google Trends? So the first one is trending searches. So that's anything that was basically trending in the last 24 hours. Then there are special topics. Special topics are used by the Google News team, which basically curates information on Google Trends to basically make just topics that are currently important, to make them a little bit more accessible and just give you some ideas of how to look at the data. And last but not least, the biggest feature, the explore and compare. So where you just explore the terms that you have in mind, see how the interest has developed over time, which is basically the main use case. Awesome. So that's already it for the tool. I will jump over to Google Trends and do a live demo for the rest of the session. Awesome. So here we are in the Google Trends page. You can select your the country that you're interested in. So for now, let's keep it in the United States. Here in the menu button, you can explore the different user interfaces that I talked about. So let's start with trending searches. Trending searches are searches that have been trending in a particular day. So what's trending in the US? It's Halloween. Scarlett Johansson. Let's have a look at what we can learn about Halloween as a trending topic. You see related news articles. Yeah. So all the time you'll find a trending search. You'll always find also, well, that's not what we wanted to do. That you can also get some context around that. You can even subscribe to an RSS feed for that search trends. So in this country, for example. And you can also subscribe to a newsletter, which is quite cool. Just gives you things that are that are top of mind for people, things that are trending, something that you can use in your social media accounts, just to interact with your users on current topics. If you want to go even deeper into trending topics, there's also the opportunity to look into real-time searches. So that's even something that has happened on an hourly level, and you'll also see information around that. So one example here, let's say also let's put Halloween. There's multiple topics summarized here, and you'll see the interest within the last 24 hours in real time. And you'll also see here in gray, you'll see news articles, so you can actually kind of see whether there was interest because there were news articles, or there were was an interest, or there was a topic like, I don't know, like a weather event or an earthquake or something like that, and then it happened, and afterwards some news article basically we're exploring it. You can even filter it by the things that you're interested in, like sports that might be relevant for your business. So that's all about trending searches. To go back to special topics, we have to go to the homepage, and this is where you'll find them actually. So you just scroll down, and one of the trending topics at the moment is the US election. It's coming up Tuesday. And basically, the Google News team has prepared some information, so you can see how often people are searching for different candidates, especially like by state, for example. Or you also have all other sorts of information, like a drill down, for example, here in geo regions, what actually people are most concerned, what they're most searching about in terms of things that might make their election results happen. Cool. So that's it around those two features. So let's go to the main feature, and I'll start with just a simple search. So let's start with Germany, and we'll take also a topic for Germany. Let's take the weather, which is, by the way, kind of a topic not only Germans like to talk about. It's actually one of the most searched terms in a lot of geographies. So if you want to really benchmark your company also against the weather, it's a good way to see whether you are on top of mind. So weather, as we see, maybe the last 5 years, when people are actually interested in the weather, you can select it here. Germany, we can even go down to different, let's say geo regions. We can select the time frame, and then it will display the interest over time. Down here in the graph, we can drill down for categories. So, for example, if you're looking for things that exist in multiple categories, you can see, for example, like bank. You can have it in German, right? Whether it's something to sit on or where you do your finances. You can do a category that you want only finance, or you want like home appliances, and you can just separate that. You can select different basically Google properties where the searches have been conducted, anything from news, images, Google Shopping, which is of course interesting if you're selling a product and really want to look at more commercial searches. And then there's also YouTube, which might be interesting also if you see that there's content, if there's a content demand for a certain topic. So the weather, for example, what we can see here in terms of seasonality, right? It's in the summer. People are more interested than in the winter. So I don't know, something that you can conclude If you're launching a weather app, you need to be prepared before the summer because people check if their barbecues are happening or not, and this could be something interesting. You can even drill it down by the sub-region, and you can see here which regions are most interested in the weather. Here it's in northern Germany, more interested. And you can also see any top queries. So what people are actually looking for. So of course, in Germany, it's weather, the weather tomorrow, and also Berlin. And you can just drill down the top queries here. What are rising queries? So rising queries are queries that are basically increasing in terms of searches, and you'll see whether or how much they have increased to in comparison to the period before. So we selected a 5-year period. It's basically comparing it to the 5 years 5 years before. So let's maybe put the past 7 days and let's see which ones are rising here. There's none, basically whether interest or the terms have not changed significantly. I mean, why would they? All right, so this is a basic comparison that I wanted to show you. Now let's go into some more advanced analysis and the way that you can leverage Google search technology to make your startup searches happening. So the first one I'll need to explain a little bit is that Google categorizes searches into different topics. So think about examples where just one word means different things, but if you search different two words together, it will basically group it together, or there will be a group of interest that will make sense. So one good example, for example, are the sharing company. So when the micromobility craze started, there was this trend of naming everything after like just plain words, right? There's Lime scooters and there's like Jump bikes, which of course, if you look at the interest for Lime, just Lime as a word, and you look at it in the United States, in the past 5 years, well, it's pretty stable, right? It's a lime. People use it for cooking and stuff like that. So you will not have any information of whether people are interested in lime as a company. So how can you do that? So when you start basically typing a word, Google will make some recommendations of the topics that you actually mean, right? So for example, for lime, I could look at the interest of lime, just the fruit, and then you'll see a different pattern. But if I want to look for lime, the sharing company, I'll have to look it up. So sometimes you have to put the full name of the company. So let's say I think that also works, like Lime Inc. doesn't work, or Lime Scooters. You just need to try something out. Here I know it's a sharing company, and that will bring me to the right topic. And the way how you can check whether the topic is actually what you want to analyze, you can go here to scroll down to related queries, and you just go for the top queries, and you see Lime scooters, Lime bikes, scooters, and so that seems to be relevant. And if you see the interest over time, basically there was no interest, then there was a lot of interest again, not so much interest after, pretty much looks like Lime. And now the same thing, if you want to compare things, you can just add another search term. So let's say we're looking for jump. I mean, again, if you just put jump, then it's going to be like just jumping, and it doesn't really affect it at all. What we're looking for jump bike, for example. Yeah, Jump bike, you have here the company, and then we can see over time in the year here with 2018, so Lime was generating a much higher interest than actually there was from Jump. So this is interesting if you want to just compare different companies. Another way to use topics into your favor is if you just go out and just put any term, then you select the category. So let's say, for example, we want to do finance, and then we'll delete the search term, then you'll basically get information of a whole category. And there's a lot of options here. So let's say food and drinks on YouTube, for example, and it will just give you kind of the interest for those big topics, which might be interesting if you really want to look at market developments. But the nicest thing about that is if you're looking at the queries that are basically here, let's say in food and drinks, over the last 12 months in the US, you can see top queries just in this category, right? And you can really go down, let's say anything like sports, and you can see which of the terms are rising, or which, for example, influencers are interested. So that's all about topics. Let's go for the next one, real quick. This is going to be around brand interest, and with that you can basically do a benchmarking how companies have entered a market and compare it with others. So let's have a look at Glovo. Glovo is a startup, and again we choose the topic here because that's what we want. No, not the glove, not the garment. I want Glovo. The company. Wow, that doesn't work. Thanks to no. There we go. And then we go to worldwide. Let's look in the last in the past 5 years. We can use this to do a market analysis, so we can see where Glovo is actually active. For that, we scroll down into world by region or region breakdown, and we see here that they are quite active in Spain as well as in Latin America. So what we can do now is to compare different Latin American markets. So let's compare, for example, here Peru, Argentina. They're quite big. Let's compare Glovo to Glovo. And the way, oh no, I have to do it again, works. You can select a filter here and change it from, now it is worldwide. We can change it to Peru. And here we can change it to Argentina. All right. And then you can see that basically when the company has entered those markets. And if you want to do a comparison with other competitors, you can just add them here, like Rappi, for example. And then you can see how successful and basically when a launch happened. So that's a really cool way to do a benchmarking. Last one that I wanted to show you is around enterprise SaaS. So for example, if we look for the interest in Slack, or we look in the interest in, let's say, maybe Peloton, like just some companies again, and we want to just use it like that. You'll find it over the past 5 years. You see that there's the interest, for example, in Slack has been growing quite constantly, but then there are some spikes. And to basically get rid of those spikes and get more meaningful results, what you can do is you can basically filter your searches just as you would do the Google searches. So for Slack, for example, if we remove stock, or if we remove like rumors around IPOs and stuff like that, we'll have a different information. And same thing for Peloton. We can remove, for example, stock. We can remove IPO, and it will look different. So if you're doing a search, always check the top terms. And if in the top terms there's something that is not right, then just remove it. And another cool way to do this for software companies, if they use an app, just put Slack download, then you'll see only basically a proxy for new user onboarding or people that are onboarded in doing becoming a user. And also another good way is to do Slack, and then you do pricing, because if people are looking for the pricing, it's not that they're just interested, they just maybe they want to become customers. And yeah, that's it from my side. Hope this was useful. I know it was a little bit rushed, but still happy to also provide some additional insights.
Thanks a lot, Björn. That was a really quick rundown. At the same time, I think it was very hands-on and very useful, and definitely I know I'll change my Google Trends searches myself. I just posted a link to Wonder where if you have any questions, Björn was so nice to also go there, and you can meet over there and ask him directly. So I encourage you to go there because I already saw a few very nice questions. So see you in Wonder, and thanks again.